Hi, I'm Coach Janice Washington, and I'm the head coach of the Greensboro Groove.
Hey, I'm Coach Fox. I'm the assistant women's coach of the Greensboro Groove.
Overall, Coach Fox, what are your feelings about this preseason and training camp?
Overall, it's been a great 2.5 weeks. We've had some really good players come in, not just on the court, but really high character individuals. So it's been a pleasure getting to know, new people, new faces, build new relationships, build new connections, and then also to see that kind of translate on the court and, just building something exciting that the city of Greensboro would love to see.
For me, it's certainly been a long road and a long journey to get to this place. And so to have everyone here finally and training and hearing the basketballs bouncing and the sneakers squeaking is such a amazing feeling. And as Coach Fox just indicated, the players that are here with us are players that are high character people, and they just happen to be really elite basketball players. So having them here and just watching them and the learning processes and all of the connections that they are building together is special.
Okay, Coach, that's on you. Who the fans should be excited to see on Friday?
That's a tough question, just because I do feel like the depth in terms of the players and the rosters that we have, it could be anybody's night on any given day. I think that's the greatest thing about how this roster has been constructed, is just a really deep balance as well as just an infectious amount of energy. Off the top of my head, as a smaller guard, I would say Diamond Johnson is certainly going to be a fan favorite. Everybody loves a little Muggsy Bogues action out there on the court, and so I think she's going to be a fan favorite along with some of these other players that are from the state of North Carolina, like Tayana Jones-Bell, right down the road from Selma, North Carolina. But I could go through the list of the other 9 players that are on this roster, because on any given night, they're going to be a fan favorite.
I agree with you. I think we have a lot of depth, a lot of experience. Both, we have some players that made some WNBA training camps, also players that have been overseas and played professionally for a couple of years. So super deep. I do agree it's going to be, anybody's given night. Again, something to be excited about.
So someone that I feel like is under the radar that people may be excited to see that's a little bit unknown is Ty Portia. She is an energy bunny. She's just unrealistically athletic. I mean, her athleticism is such a gift to her, and her size at 6'1" is undersized at this level. And so to see her out there holding her own and just bringing the energy to practice every day, every night, has been special to watch. Again, I certainly think she's going to be a fan favorite. She's always going to be first to the floor, in there mixing it up on the inside with the rebounding. But I definitely think she's a name that's flown under the radar up to this point.
Right. I agree with you, Coach. I think right after that for me will probably be Maria Gagdang.
Yes.
She actually played at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where she played on a really good basketball team. So maybe she's flown a little under that radar as far as what she's going to be able to bring on the court. Similar to Ty, high energy. She's going to, crash the rebound. She's going to do everything that we asked to do as coaches and be the best teammate on the floor as well. Yeah. Who would you say is the coach on the floor for you?
That's a great question. I think they're still feeling their way around each other. The greatest thing that I've seen is that during different moments, we have different people being vocal and being able to step up and say the things that need to be said when they need to be said. And so you've got Kristen Williams, who's really good at breaking things down to other teammates, as well as Tay Jones-Bell is certainly someone who's also very positive, but also like a leader by example. And so those are the 2 that come to mind at the forefront. But the competitive spirit of the group is just, it's amazing. But on any given night, like, we've had different people step up from a vocal leadership standpoint.
No, I agree completely. I would have said the same thing. I think just depending on what the moment needs, different people step up and at the perfect times for us. So it's good that we have a balance and that they are picking and finding their roles and opportunities for their voices to be heard.
How do you think the other teams are going to describe the Groove, Coach?
That's a great question. I always kind of, while we're scouting anyway, put myself, on the other side of things, kind of do a pre-scout just in our minds. What would somebody say if they saw us? I think if we're just looking at the roster, I think that we have a great group of, a great depth of guards, perimeter players. There are a lot of three-level scorers. And then, going back to those under the radar, X factor players, the high motor energy role players that, are going to do everything that we need them to do, the intangibles. So I think that people should be nervous to play us because of the depth that we have, but also I think that we're going to be high scoring. I think we talked about that. So probably just be prepared, to play some great defense and, throw some different things at us to make people uncomfortable, I guess. That's what I would say.
No bulletin board material from me. But I certainly can understand Coach Fox's position on that and agree with the things that she's saying with regards to this roster and its makeup. Again, like a lot of balance. You don't know who's going to be the hot hand on any given night. Like there's such a tremendous amount of depth that we feel like is going to be fantastic for us, the size and the length. I think in our ability to just, go out there and throw some different looks at people from a mismatch standpoint. And certainly the X factors in terms of like energy bunnies and things like that. But I do think that as people look at the roster, there are a number of players that are on that roster that have been overlooked at some point in time in their career. We don't have a ton of big name stars, but they're all super elite players. They all are a pro's pro. They have all come in with the right mentality as it relates to this opportunity. I think our strategy and our game plan for our opening weekend against Savannah is just to make sure that we're able to get into our flow, into our spots. I've known Coach Brown for a while. I know she is a highly defensive and tuned type of coach, even though as a player she was out there draining threes from everywhere on the court. But I do know that, her focus in some of the areas that she's been in has been on the defensive side of the ball. And so for us being able to have discussions about ball control, making sure that we're managing the clock and managing the situations, finding those advantages and taking advantage where there are mismatches is something that's going to be important. And then on the other side of the ball, these are all pro players. So you've got to defend in every single spot and be able to, win the battle of the loose balls and the 50-50 balls as well.
Yeah, for me, right along with Coach, I think just this first weekend is going to be probably more majority about kind of what we do, like she said, focusing on what we can control and, just making adjustments from there. We've been talking about defense for the past couple of days, so like she said, being able to get some stops, but also doing what we do offensively and, having everything flow and having the players feel confident. How has it been, Coach, with your new coaching staff for this great Groove team that we have here?
It's been great. I think the greatest part of getting to know new coaches and new people is that your perspective can be the same. It can be totally different. You can have different tweaks here. The terminologies can be sometimes different, but you're talking about the exact same thing. So I think being able to have conversations with Coach Fox early on in this process made it easy for our transition. A lot of the things that she's familiar with are things that we do in the systems that I prefer. And then as far as the other pieces of our staff goes, some of them I've already known for a while, and some of them are new, and so we're still going through the processes of making sure everybody understands like the actions that we're doing, the concepts, the installations, and then just making sure that we are providing the experience that our interns need in order to be successful in the roles that they're playing. And so just making sure that I have a good feel for what it is that we need to be exposing them to from a width and a depth perspective.
Right. For me, it's been great working, with Coach Jay. It's been an honor, a blessing, just the whole opportunity. And I feel like that we, kind of are on the same page with a lot of the things that we talk about and just having that common goal. And then for the rest of the staff, I think that we're all learning each other, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to win and wants to succeed. We're a group of winners, so that's kind of,
Definitely.
brings us together regardless of, anything else.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So go ahead, Coach. Tell about the legends we have from North Carolina on staff.
Yeah, absolutely. Our staff, as Coach Fox just mentioned, we have a staff of winners, the people that we have brought in as players as well as the coaching staff. One of our focal points was to just make sure everybody had a relationship with winning and understood the sacrifices that are necessary when you need to be a winner and how you go about the business of being a winner. And so we have got, ACC legend Tanya Sampson is one of our assistant coaches. High Point legendary player and coach. Dee Penix is on our staff. We've got, shooter extraordinaire Asia James, who played at Elon and NCA&T. She's here on our staff. In addition to those guys, we also have Ben President, who has been around basketball at various levels. And so now this will be his first experience at the pro level as well. We've got Henry Ye that's going to be with us doing some operations and video analytics for us. And then we've got Amari Robinson, who is our true intern who just finished his first year of college and has been exposed to a lot of different things from an operational standpoint, from a basketball strategy and management standpoint. And so, did I miss
Coach Danielle.
Oh no, I missed two of our most important people. They take care of the bodies. How did I forget those two? So Coach Danielle Perry is our strength and conditioning coach. She does an amazing job at just being in tune with the players and what it is that they need, just from a stretching standpoint, yoga, Pilates, and things like that. And then Kiara Price. She has been an amazing athletic trainer for us as well. And both of those guys, they are young and hungry and just really exceptional at making the connections with the players and then just keeping the coaching staff updated as far as what we need to do in terms of scaling back, or you can increase that intensity a little bit more than you had anticipated. Their bodies are sore. And so they've been very communicative with the staff just to make sure that we're doing what's necessary for the best interest of these players' health.
Coach, what do we need? What does the players need when the fans come in here? What do we need to get this thing rocking?
We need all these sections, fill them up. We want everybody here. The last I'd heard, we were very, very close to a sellout crowd. It's not about selling the tickets, it's about getting those bodies in the seats. We want the energy to be flowing. This is our opening weekend for something that is historic for the city of Greensboro. And so the biggest thing is just going to be making sure that these players feel the support that we know the city of Greensboro has to offer.
Agreed. And when y'all get here, we just need it loud. We need y'all engaged. We're going to have some fun. We want y'all to have some fun. We want y'all to feel good about the product we're going to put on the floor for the whole summer.
The future is up.